having that boldness to be like, yeah, no, I have this gifting, but I have this
Yes.
new assignment, this new calling, this new anointing, and just taking that step, stepping into it. And what a just beautiful example of that. So yes, please keep sharing.
Thank you so much. Yes, it's so true when you look back. God really has us and he knows he's orchestrating right behind the scenes. And I love that. That's what I love about him. I just want to tell everybody about him. I love him so much. He's such a good God, no matter what. Even though I went through breast cancer, I look back and I'm like, you know what? I turned that into my message. So I went through that, had the 11-year fitness business. And of course, right before COVID happened, the two women came in and bought the gym out and pretty much told me in that November and December of 2019 to find somewhere else. Now I built that for 11 years. Everyone knew me, the location, I was just frazzled. I was
Mhm.
like, okay, Lord, there's the word pivot. What am I going to do? But then COVID happened. So I didn't have to think too much because God put a stop to everything. And he did have a plan. And I started not knowing what his plan was at this point. I was faithful. I wasn't really talking about my faith, though, in my fitness business during that time. I wasn't really as prayerful as I could have been. During the breast cancer, I leaned in with him, but over the years, I was up, down, all around in my faith and just life happening. And I had a little bit of distance with myself and God. And then when COVID went on, I just had to get real quiet about what I was supposed to be doing because as a fitness instructor, I mean, there was nowhere for me to go, but I did start teaching online and free classes and Zooms, and I did all that. But then there was a stirring in my heart and God saying, I need you to talk about me. Like, where am I in your life? You've been through so much. The breast cancer is only one piece of it, but even just surviving through my mom's pain my whole entire life, like it's just been a lot on my shoulders for a very long time. And he really is the only thing that got me out of bed in the morning. And he wanted me to share that with people and knew that especially during COVID, the hope people need to know they're not alone and God's there. And how can I use my voice and tell them? So I started off with just Monday night Bible study. I put it out there. Let's go. I ended up doing that Monday night Bible study for free for 2 full years. I just showed up for these women, whether I had 2 or 35. Every single week, I was there at 7 p.m. on Zoom, just talking about Jesus, helping them get through their week. Let's go. Let's do it. Let's tie God into our lives, which in the beginning of COVID, though, I'm going to just say I skipped over a big major part, but I realized in my quietness when the world shut down that I was addicted to the climb of life.
Mhm.
And that phrase was downloaded to me during my prayer time, my quiet time, and living with a mom who bounced back, me climbing my way out of so many different things. How am I going to climb my way out of no more boot camp into the next thing? So I did start a podcast at the end of 2020, and it was called Addicted to the Climb, which I still have today. That's where I said, what am I doing with this though, Lord? What am I going to do with Addicted to the Climb? And that's why I started the Bible study to just draw some women into knowing, oh, Kelley's not the fitness girl really anymore. She's this faith girl. We didn't know that side of her. And I wanted to share my faith. So I started the podcast to start talking little by little. If you go back in the beginning of my podcast, it wasn't all about faith. It was really about listening to people's stories of how they climbed out of their dark times
Yeah.
and how they became successful. I wanted to learn about people